0 calories or 1 calorie, on the can. That's what you see. And, you're fooling people into thinking this is a healthy drink. And
what about vitamins?
And it's massive industry. All the evidence points to these things being a complete waste of money. The food industry wants you to focus on the calorie, the fat content, sugar, so you don't have to think about the quality of the food. And it's something that they can control very easily, get their profits higher, keep adding stuff to the product that's synthetic, when we know that a lot of things they're adding are harmful for our gut microbes. So that the artificial sweeteners are harmful, the glues, they stick the foods together, the emulsifiers, some people react quite a lot to those and they cause problems. So the whole thing is like this giant camouflage. And that's really one thing probably my number one bugbear is to get people to see the light, stop obsessing about calories and start thinking about food much more as quality and what it does to your body.
Quality food. What is quality food in your definition of the phrase?
It's the opposite of ultra-processed food, which is whole food, which is made with from the original ingredients of plants, mainly plant-based, but it's not exclusively, that contains all the nutrients that those plants produce without it being stripped away or boiled up or highly pressurized, deformed, and so they have to add in back those nutrients. So, it's things in their pure form. So it's nuts, it's seeds, it's grains that haven't been ground up super finely. It's all the amazing plants and fruits and vegetables that we've got. They're healthy foods, but it's not straightforward. Yes, I've got this list of 10 superfoods. It's understanding that many foods that are healthy for us. Most of them are in their original form. Berries, nuts, virtually every vegetable is healthy for us if it's in that original form. It's only because we had to learn to preserve things, we had to do trickery to make margarines and things with chemistry that we've moved away from that.
When you walk down the aisle in the supermarket, everything is trying to pretend that it's good. So how do I know what is good?
Well, you've said the first thing. If it's not in a package, you're pretty sure it's good.
Okay.
So if it's concealed in some package that's got, happy children and signals of vitamins in it, that should be a warning sign. The more they have to advertise the food and say what its additives are and everything, the more you should be wary about it. The number of ingredients is another pretty good sign. So once you get over 10, particularly if there's lots you've never heard of, you wouldn't find in your kitchen, you should also be wary that is ultra-processed food. Anything that says low calorie, means they've had to add in lots of artificial sweeteners or protein extracts or something else, is also a big danger sign. Low in fat means they've replaced the natural fat with something else that's cheaper. And these are all warning signs, and you take breakfast cereals. I mean, I used to eat lots of breakfast cereals. I was brought up on them, highly sugary stuff, and then I thought I was being healthy when I moved to mueslis and posher stuff. But actually, when you still, that appearance of healthiness, it's still got lots of additives in it. It's still got lots of sugar in it. It's just, and those cereal packets have added vitamins in it, but they're often in a very poor form. I did an experiment once where I took some cornflakes or Special K, I can't remember, that said had added iron. And if you mix it up, you can put a magnet on it, you can get off the iron filings. They're so cheap that they're just added to tick a box saying it has iron, but they don't get into your body or do anything. So anything that's got these things added with this in it, low in this, is a sign that they're obscuring the quality of the product. So it's, but it's a lot of we've been brainwashed for years and decades in this. And, I was as well as a doctor, I should know better. And yet I've completely changed two of my meals completely.
Wait, so I cut out sugary drinks about a year ago. I still have the same brands, but I have the no sugar version.
Oh dear.
Oh shit! What do you mean, oh dear?
Well, all the summary of the trials shows that if you take young adults and kids, and they were say on 2 cans of, full sugar sodas, and you change them to the diet version, there's no real difference in weight or metabolic changes in their blood. You will go to the dentist less, so you don't get as many fillings, but and yet you should be gaining 300 calories, right, if you were doing 2 cans a day. So it doesn't work out as it should do, and that's because of these chemicals are not inert. So the sweeteners in kids, they change their brains to give them they want more sweetness in their food. Okay, so it could reflect your wish for your late night milk chocolate, who knows, and it makes it very difficult to train kids to have more bitter foods or sour foods if they've got these artificial sweeteners in their diet all the time. But they've now shown that all these sweeteners actually affect your gut microbes. So even stevia, these sort of so-called healthy ones, have an effect on your gut microbes, and they're not inert. So we know that saccharin and sucralose also cause spikes in your blood sugar. When I did it, I have a trace. They're not supposed to, but they actually do things they're not supposed to. So we know very little about these products, and my view is that they are harmful, probably not as bad as having the sugar, but they are absolutely not a health drink, and we should be encouraging people to have teas and kombuchas and more bitter tasting, interesting flavors and foods than just this ultra sweet chemical concoctions.
It's this sugar conglomerate that have been funding much of the research that points towards some of the things you were talking about there. That's also the conglomerate that wants us to believe the calories in, calories out approach, because if I just view all foods as kind of equal and on this sort of calorie number, then I can drink some of the sugary fizzy drinks and some of the processed foods. As long as I keep it within that sort of calorie deficit, I'll be fine. And so is that sugar conglomerate, is the processed food conglomerate for the calorie model?
Absolutely.
They need that, right?
Absolutely, it's vital. 0 calories or 1 calorie, on the can. That's what you see, and you're fooling people into thinking this is a healthy drink. And if I used to have full Coke or Pepsi and now having the diet version, I'm getting 300 calories less a day. I should lose weight. It's exactly what they've been doing, and they're also desperate to show that artificial sweeteners are really healthy, and they come down on anyone who tries to say that they're, could be in any way dangerous, and yet they're not obliged to test them. So none of the chemicals added really go through rigorous testing on how they affect our gut microbes, and this is their testing mechanisms haven't changed in 50 years.
What about vitamins? I've got all these vitamins by my bedside. Not by my bedside, by my bathroom sink in my bedroom. Because, I went to some market and the lady there told me that all these vitamins are important, and then, I don't know, I might have seen an ad on Facebook or something and I ended up buying more vitamins. And I'm like a collector of vitamins.
We're not alone. I think 50% of the British population have a regular vitamin or supplement every day. And it's massive industry.
I read chapter 5 of your book.
So I'm a bit rude about vitamins in there.
Please. Please be.
So yeah. I know, it's the thing that upsets people most. People say, I believe everything else you say, but I don't believe your chapter on vitamins. And again, it's a bit like a religion, popping a pill and hoping that it's doing some good. All the evidence shows that when you do a randomized controlled trial, these vitamins don't work unless you've got some really weird disease or deficiency, or for some reason you can't eat a normal diet. But it's a last resort for people who have terrible diets. If you have a decent, varied diet with plenty of plants in it, you don't need vitamins at all. And I used to take them, and I don't take any now, except the occasional B12, because I've always been low in B12 and I have hardly any meat. But apart from B12, all the evidence points to these things being a complete waste of money.
You're telling me all those vitamins I've swallowed over the last 10 years have been the result of me being duped by the vitamin industry and have no material impact on my health?
Yes. Well, they might have had some harmful effects, like people taking calcium and things like this are shown if you take regular calcium tablets, more likely to get heart disease.
You're joking. I've literally got a tub of calcium tablets by my kitchen sink as we speak.
Yeah, well, there's calcium in nearly every plant and things that we normally break down and absorb in small amounts regularly. You take something like a calcium supplement, you might be taking 0.5 gram of it. Our body isn't designed to break down that huge slab of chemical, and so it doesn't get distributed well, and studies show that it gets deposited in your arteries and can harden them up. So there's no evidence that calcium helps people, doesn't help broken bones, it doesn't help osteoporosis, all the things that we were told it did do. So all the evidence was out there, and you've got all these companies pushing it. So many of these things can be counterproductive, but my main worry about them is if people think they can pop a pill, they don't have to think about proper food.
Yeah.
And therefore everything comes in a bottle or a pill. They can go, just have a junk food diet and be healthy. And that's so wrong, because diet, I think, is the most, as I said, the most important food choice we make for our health. And to take stuff that doesn't work, that could be counterproductive and sometimes harmful, is a daft delusion.
I have been under a daft delusion. I've got so many supplements upstairs.
Well, they could have a placebo effect. You might feel better because you've taken them,
I feel like a healthy person because I take them. I don't know whether I am a healthy person, but I feel like one. When I do it, and it's really uncomfortable because sometimes I'm taking like 8 different pills, like calcium and potassium and whatever else, and when I'm doing it, even though it's hard to swallow them and it tastes rancid, I feel like I'm doing future Steve a favour.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
But clearly I haven't been.
Get someone to make you some dummy ones so there's got nothing harmful in it and you can still feel good. But a lot cheaper.
I'll give that a shot.